George Rogers was prolific. Born in Duluth, Georgia, Rogers came from humble beginnings and moved around frequently before eventually finding stability back in Duluth. He began playing football in 4th grade and went on to start at Duluth High School, where he rushed for a record 2,286 yards as a junior, and also helped them capture a state championship during his time there. After being heavily recruited by his hometown Georgia, Tennessee, and many others, he ultimately decided to accept a scholarship to the University of South Carolina, citing head coach Jim Carlin's promise of letting him play as a true freshman as the reason why. At 6'2", 225 pounds, the original plan was for him to play fullback. However, due to a need at the position, he was moved to tailback his freshman year, splitting time with Johnny Wright. While his first 2 seasons were productive, he would be launched into the national spotlight after Wright went down with an injury. He would flourish in his new role, rushing for 1,548 yards and 8 touchdowns as a junior, nearly matching the totals from his first 2 years combined. He was named an All-American and firmly put himself in the Heisman conversation ahead of his senior year. Despite the lofty expectations, Rogers rose to the occasion and had a season for the ages, rushing for a school record 1,781 yards and 14 touchdowns, while boasting a 6 yards per carry average. Most impressively, his efforts would indeed culminate in a Heisman Trophy win, ousting the likes of Herschel Walker and Hugh Green. He became the first and only player to claim the award in South Carolina's history, and also secured his projection as a top pick in the 1981 draft, where he would be taken first overall by the New Orleans Saints, ahead of future legends Lawrence Taylor, Ronnie Lott, Dennis Smith, and once again Hugh Green. Even with the pressure of being the top pick of a loaded draft class, Rogers remained unflappable, rushing for a league-leading 1,674 yards and 13 touchdowns on his way to winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, being named a first-team All-Pro, and earning his first of 2 consecutive Pro Bowl selections, with the second coming in a strike-shortened season. While year 3 would be another successful year on paper, Rogers did experience some issues off the field, along with injuries. Things would only become further complicated in year 4, after head coach Bum Phillips brought in his former prized running back, Earl Campbell, midway through the season in hopes of providing a spark to a Saints team that had gotten off to a slow start. Rogers still managed to rush for over 900 yards, but it was clear that the Saints were entering a rebuild. The former Heisman Trophy winner was also in search of a change, and wanted to join a contender. Thus, the Saints traded him to Washington, who were seeking a successor for an aging John Riggins. The change of scenery would be very beneficial for Rogers, as he had some of his best seasons of his career in Washington, running behind one of the greatest offensive line groups of all time in the Hogs. He cleared the 1,000-yard mark in each of his first 2 seasons and led the league in rushing touchdowns in 1986 with 18. While he was slowed by injuries in 1987, he still managed to contribute during Washington's Super Bowl run, rushing for 613 yards and 6 touchdowns in 11 games. By the end of the year, the nagging injuries had taken their toll, and Rogers would retire. In a career that lasted 7 seasons, Rogers rushed for 7,176 yards and 54 touchdowns, while accomplishing what most players could only dream of, winning a Heisman, being drafted first overall, and capturing a Super Bowl title. While he did make some mistakes along the way, he remained accountable for his actions. His 1,674 rushing yards are still the second most ever in a rookie season, and he is still the all-time leading rusher in South Carolina history. For his achievements, he was honored with a statue near Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. I want to thank you for watching, and I would love to hear your thoughts on George Rogers' career.